What's going on, Jeromes? We're back. Happy Wednesday out there, everyone, everywhere. Daily Jeromes live stream, 11 a.m. Central Time, every single day, Monday through Thursday. Muscuzi. Thanks for coming along and making this part of your day as I just burp it. And like, it's a good way to start things up. So we got a ton of Qs. We got some A's. Give a couple shout outs here in a hot sec. Is the side effect of Rona burping? Is that you, Rona? Whatever. Anyways, we're good. Henrik Byerlev. I know you've alluded to several times, but can you specifically tell us who you believe quit during the Saints game? I know Anthony Harris did, but in your evaluation, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'm not going to call any guy specifically out, but we know. Like, if you watch the game, we know. Yeah. Carl McMullen. I feel like Rousseau just has so much utility that getting him in 14 would almost be a steal. He could play inside as a 3-tech or get after it opposite of Hunter and will be a nightmare for opposing O-lines with his speed and strength. Absolutely. I think that he certainly has that upside from the skill that he showed in 2019, but also like he was just physically beating dudes. And this is what happens in college, where there isn't always that technical refinement, especially as a guy who was a converted wide receiver, I believe. Also, could you imagine throwing to like 6'7", 260-pound Greg Rousseau? That would be great. But I would be on board. And I wouldn't looking at it the wrong way initially that he was just an edge, but as a guy that you move around a lot, like he did play a lot inside for Miami. He played some 0-tech, he played some 1-tech, played some 3-tech. So I would be on board as a huge long-term project, though. Like Gregory Rousseau, if he gets really good coaching and 3 or 4 years down the line, you tell me he's a Pro Bowler, borderline All-Pro, I believe it. Ian Satrum. If this offseason goes exactly perfect, how does the team look next year? Super Bowl champs. Connor Spies. Would you trade Cousins, a third and a fifth to the Niners for their first? I mean, yeah, I don't know if the Niners would go for that, though. Trade up, grab Zach Wilson. Cut Reef, sign Scherf and Thuney. And the DT of your choice. Or would you rather stick and pick Mac Jones than... I'm sort of whatever on Mac Jones. I know that some people are really jonesing over Mac Jones because of how he played in the playoff, but I'm still skeptical. I got skeptical hippo eyes. But I mean, yes, if this went through, sure. Thorvald Von Johnson. Do any teams routinely substitute offensive linemen depending on down? No, but they really should. Like if the Vikings had like a short yardage or goal line offensive line rotation, like you put in Oli Udo, I mean, why not? Zaragoza 44. If and when we win the Super Bowl, will you cry? It'll be one single tear, just like the Stanley Steamer. Trade 14 for a second this year and a first next year. Now you got ammo to go after next year's franchise quarterback. Thoughts? Let's go. Well, Desmond Ridder, I think, is going to be a first-round pick. Kedden, Sam Howell. I read that Dame Brugler has talked to some scouts, and they think that the 2022 class might not be as good as this class. But, of course, that's a full year away. And also, like Kedden had an amazing true freshman season, and his sophomore year was like 4 games because of the Pac-12. So I don't know if I necessarily buy that. I mean, give all these guys another year to develop and grow. Because, I mean, if you look at Joe Burrow, his junior season at LSU, like what, maybe a 5th-round pick? Maybe. And then 29. I got to stop eating before these streams because I'm just burping all over the place. But then 2019 happened, then boom, right? Number 1 overall pick. So, I mean, sure. Yeah, sure. Nusrat G, other than Cash, what would make Mr. Hunter stay in Minnesota? Well, his contract won. But yeah, Cash. Thorvald Von Johnson. Any generational talents in this year's draft? Players that'll change the way the position is played or dominate. Well, not changing the way that the position is played. Dominate, sure. I think Trevor Lawrence has that upside. I think Penny Sewell has that upside. I think people are sleeping on how good Caleb Farley was in 2019. So, well, not ready to call him generational. I would put out, yeah, just Sewell and Lawrence. Yeah, that's about it. Penguin 321. Who would you want the Vikings to have different? Would you want the Vikings to have different unis going into 2021? Nah, I think the current ones are fine. Like the Vikings historically haven't really done a lot with the uniforms anyway, and also like some of the fan edits. Yeah. Otso Mikkonen. There are rumors that John Noelle has some bold plan to get Kirk Cousins with Peyton. Do you think the rumors are legit? No. Peyton, yes, but Kirk, probably not. Saw the videos. Flight reacts. Do you think it would be the best for the Vikings trade Danielle Hunter to the Dolphins or Falcons for 3 or 4 overall? Maybe a future first or second. If they called up with that offer, it would be tempting. It would, especially if the Dolphins at 3 are ready to go that route. Because the Vikings could, get their choice. Well, get whoever's left over from 1 and 2 for a quarterback of the future. It would really, really be tempting. King Lose 88. Shop and take my money. $10 super chat. Hey, you're the best. Thank you. Skull. Woo. Westworld. Please let our backup quarterback be someone exciting like Heineke or Anthony Gordon. Well, I think Heineke's going to stick in Washington because of his relationship with the Turners, but Anthony Gordon, he didn't do a ton for me. Now, but if we're talking about, hey, trading a 5th for Gardner Minshew, okay, we're in now. Jason Dalen. What do you think of Stanford quarterback Davis Mills? What other mid-late round quarterbacks do you like? I haven't watched a ton of Davis Mills. I know that did he lose his job or did he replace Costello at Stanford? I think I remember seeing him briefly because we watched some Walker Little Jr. But I have no opinion on him. Diego said, seeing how Shoddy Too Hotty got fired from Seattle, would you think he would be a good fit in Minnesota? His offense is ranked 17th in the league. Well, West Coast guy, he's not as run heavy as his pops was for sure. I'm sort of indifferent. Like the way that the Seattle offense started, yes, but I think that Shoddy got a little bit too reliant on Russell Wilson just bailing his ass out. So I would pass. Kyra McMullen, just watched a CBS draft that Fields falling all the way to Niners. Yeah, we talked about that one, but him falling all the way to 12, probably not. Do I see the Niners trading up for him? Sure. Let's see. We gave our opinions on that in the video. Ezekiel Lockhart. Number 1, I'm starting a franchise on my old Madden game. Should I roll with Ponder at quarterback or Adrian Peterson, or trade Adrian Peterson for rookie Andrew Luck? Trade for Andrew Luck, and then hopefully he stays healthy. Number 2, blue cheese or buttermilk ranch. Side note, I loved our 2006-2012 jerseys. Well, it depends on what capacity. So if you're having a salad, yeah, go ranch. But if you're having wings, blue cheese is where it's at, man. Also, instead of blue cheese dressing, get like the legit like chunks of blue cheese and get a little heavy cream, a little bit of sour cream as well. Just mix that together because you want like the chunky, stanky beautifulness to offset the heat from the buffalo sauce. Ben Durham, what was your reaction to the Minneapolis Miracle? Well, we're sitting right here in the studio, had it on the top left TV, had it on mute because it's like, oh, and here we go again. And then out of the corner of my eye, I saw the Diggs catch, and then he ran, and it was just like, that was it. Because good things at the end of games never happen to the Vikings. Schlars, what do you think are some day 3 quarterbacks we could pick up, compete for the backup spot? Personally, I like Shane Buechele from SMU. Did Buechele go back? I mean, quarterbacks are just pulling eligibility out of their ass. All right, so he is headed to the draft. Okay. Buechele is interesting. I do like Ellinger, but not as like a quarterback. If you're going to use him the way that the stupid Saints use Taysom Hill, okay. Felipe Franks is interesting. So he was a starter at Florida before Kyle Trask supplanted him. Had a whatever season at Arkansas this year. Kellen Mond. I still don't know about Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond, Ian Book, Cunningham. Who else do I like? Call it Mason Fine. I still think that Mason Fine could be an NFL quarterback, even though he was undrafted last year, didn't even get a tryout. But looking back in some of the Jalen tape with him and Mason Fine, come on. Rudy Peel. What are your thoughts on Micah Parsons playing more edge or stand-up defensive end in the league? I think that would be more out of position for him. I think that he is going to be a Mike linebacker, but one that will have a lot of rushing prowess. So you're going to blitz him a lot. I think I don't know if he has the length to be like an every down edge guy, but if you want to blitz him, if you play him off ball and then just blitz him, sure. But stand up DN, no. Tony Levins. I have a bad feeling that the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers are going to win it all this year. No, can't happen. Nate H. I don't like Gregory Rousseau as an edge. Most of his 15 sacks came from inside. Yes. And if you watch the tape, he's lost the smallest contact. No. Yeah, he is light, and his weight distribution, it's a little bit top heavy. Like the lower body is nothing to write home about. And he is absolutely raw. But I mean, the physical upside is there. But if that's your only pick until 79 in the third round, and he has to contribute right away, nah. Like Rousseau would be phenomenal if you put him on a team. I'm trying to think. Chiefs kinda, Browns kinda, where he would benefit, like stylistically not similar at all, but he would benefit from a similar situation to Aldon Smith, where Aldon Smith, like the first 2 years, he didn't start, but he just played on pass rushing downs as he was working on refinement and technique, and Rousseau would benefit from that greatly. Clint Sutherland. Do you think we should draft Kirk Cousins? And get another draft pick? Sure. Oakview. Is there a situation where Wilson falls to 14? He'd have to kill a guy. If not, do you think it's worth trading up, sit a year behind, then cutting Kirk? Well, I don't think that they would sit him for a year and then cut Kirk, because they got to pay $35 million fully guaranteed in 2022 either way. They might try to trade him for next to nothing just to take the money off their hands. Sure. I would trade up for Wilson. I don't know how much I would give up, though. I wouldn't give up a lot, so I think that basically nixes that. Miles. Who's got the highest draft ceiling and lowest floor in the draft, and could go either way player? So highest ceiling? I think of the quarterbacks, Wilson has the highest ceiling. As crazy as that sounds. Fields is close. I think Lawrence has a relatively low ceiling because I think he's so damn close to it anyway. So that's not a knock on him. Lowest floor in the draft? Oh, Rousseau could have the high ceiling and the lowest floor, because he could be completely just washed out and swamped due to the physicality of the NFL versus 1 year of ACC football. Sure. Let's see here. Who else has a low floor? OTM Snipes. Would it be a good sign if Vikings get Earl Thomas, release Anthony Harris? No. Hey, let us know where you're watching from and give a couple shout-outs. Seth V. Herman, are you planning on doing the hot dish again next season? I honestly really enjoyed that segment. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do a food item inspired by the Vikings opponent that week. Miles, did you see that Rob Brzezinski and Jamal Stevenson might go with Peyton to the Broncos? That would be bad. Well, I saw Stevenson. I did not see the Brzezinski. That might just be scuttlebutt fake news. Logan Weiss. Daniel Falele to the Vikings. Man, so the Gophers 400-pound right tackle. Did he declare? Declaration deadline is Monday, I believe. So he's assessing. Enhance. But he's big. Now, he not only is he 400 pounds, but he actually wears it well. He really does remind me body composition-wise of Babatunde Ayagbusi, if you remember him. Because there's like fat 400 pounds, and then there's athletic 400 pounds. He's the latter. Now, where would they put him? You're not going to put him at left tackle. You're not going to move Brian O'Neill. So, since he's so tall at 6'9", I don't think that he would play with enough leverage to kick inside. And also, I think that he is going to go as like a day 2 pick. So that might nix the Vikings either way. But I'm intrigued, man. I'm intrigued. Like I don't think he scratched the entire lotto ticket of his potential. He could be a guy who is a much better pro than college player, if that makes sense. MD, Andy, the post he made about you winning football with that amazing Vikings free agency picture. Oh, yeah. Could you post that picture on Twitter? Yeah, so check out the community tab. We did a fan speak free agency and draft simulation. It was nuts. It was nuts. Kyle McMullen, how's it feel to have an audience of thousands? Did you ever think this channel would get this far? It doesn't really affect me. I mean, we have a fun community of Jeromes. Producer Allie's a rock star. And, yeah, can't really tell the difference. Like, we're sitting here in front of a camera with a mic. That's about it. Dominic Whetstone. Every year, there's 1 or 2 players that fall unexpectedly. Who'd you bet on to fall and how far? I think medically, Trey Smith might fall. Who else? Just through sheer quarterback tax, I think that Micah Parsons might fall. Actually, Micah Parsons and Jason Webb, both from Penn State, both physical freak guys, just because refinement isn't necessarily there, even though they are like Rousseau, where you're betting on the physical upside. Let's see here. Who's a bad body guy? Oh, Dickerson might fall because of medicals. Does Creed Humphrey fall? I think Bateman might fall. Yeah, I think Bateman might fall because of the opt-out, opt-in. He only played like 2 or 3 games right this year, and also he's not going to test amazing. Like he's not like a dynamic, physically gifted athlete. Like he's not Jalen Waddle, but he does have a knack of getting open. He is a big body guy. He does have a wide catch radius, but I think that teams may see if they have options. Like they'll go with maybe even Chris Olave from Ohio State. They'll go Rondale Moore. They'll go Jalen Waddle. They go Terrace Marshall Jr., who had himself a nice season this year. So I think Bateman, because of the testing and because of the opt-out, might actually drop into the second round pretty decently. Logan Weiss. What late round prospect has the most upside? Jordan Smith, Malcolm Kuntz. I still have a big crush into Daryl Slayton. I do, man. I do. Like maybe it's you get tunnel vision, like you watch 4 games where he performs extremely well, and you're like, that's your opinion of him. Yeah, I like Slayton a lot. Who else do I like? Oh, Puka Williams, the running back from Kansas. None of these are helpful for the Vikings except for Slayton and the edge guys. Randy Moss, the boss. Predictions for games this weekend and best and worst matchup. Rams over the Packers. Bucks beat the Saints. I think the Bills get it done against the Ravens. I think that's going to be a tough, fun game, though. Although cold weather, I think would benefit the Ravens more. Just because they're a run-first team. Actually, no, I'm going to pick the Ravens. So I'm picking 3 road teams. And then, gosh, who's the other game? Oh, yeah, the Browns and the Chiefs. Ha! Yeah, Chiefs are going to beat the Browns. Which sucks because I'm a big Browns fan. That's a Marty Schottenheimer Bowl. See, the worst, the best matchup is... Best matchup might actually be Ravens-Bills. I think that's going to be a hell of a game. Worst matchup, probably Saints-Bucks. Because I know everyone's going to cream their jeans over Breeze and Brady. But only Brady's the one playing well. Like, Breeze is whatever. And also, yeah, we're already seeing Ravens... Bucks and Saints twice, so screw it. Jack Pfeiffer. If we don't re-sign Wilson, do you think Dye Davis and maybe Lynch can hold down the fort? Would you look some help in free agency? Yeah, especially since the Vikings play nickel like 70% of the time. Having 2 linebackers, yes, but also depth is important as we saw this year. But yeah, if Wilson can get $8-9 million per year in free agency, go get it, man, because the Vikings can't afford to pay that. Abisa Warika. If Adam Thielen is Adam Thielen a Hall of Famer? No. Hall of very, very good. Vikings Ring of Honor for sure, but Hall of Famer? No. Hamza Abdi. Kirk and Barr to Denver for their first round pick, or Kirk and Barr to Niners for their first round pick. Which one takes the offer? Probably neither. I mean, that's a lot of money to transfer. Kirk is 32. Barr is coming off an injury and has a big contract. I don't think either of them take it. Schottenheimer is a good fit for Minnesota. Nah. All right, a couple shoutouts. Caio Baldrini, Skull from Rio de Janeiro. What's up? Darius Martin, Seattle. Amazon. Purple Rain, Skull from Wausau, Wisconsin. Nick Jones, White Bear Lakes. Skull. Rohan Kumar, London. Top of the morning? Oh, that's Irish. Josh Lathrop, Minnesota. What's up? Vikings fan, Burnsville, South Metro representing. Nick Wolfskull from Eau Claire, Michigan. Wow. Stanley Steamer, Milwaukee. You guys are the best. Thanks for coming along. Let's see here. Next up, Brandon Bus the Bus. Looking at the Rams' defense to the Packers' offense, the Rams have a good shot at winning as long as their offense can show up. Yeah, so that's a big question. Wolford's going to be out. I believe Jared Goff practiced in full. But Cam Akers is legit, man. And also the Packers have shown like you can run on them. So I think that they'll have to rely on Cam Akers a lot. I believe Cooper Kupp got dinged up towards the end of the Seahawks game as well. But yeah, if Aaron Donald is good to go, rest him all week, shoot up those ribs with Dr. Feelgood or whatever the hell you have to do, and then just get after it. That Rams secondary is legit. You like Josh Johnson. Of course, you love Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey's going to be trailing Devontae Adams all damn game. And yeah, I'm calling him. I'm calling the Rams to beat the Packers. It's going to be great. Westworld. What if Kyle Pitts is BP at 14? Take him. And then we'll just score 50. Why the hell not? Tristan Bailey. What do you see the Bears doing this offseason? Are they screwed for a while? Well, they said that Nagy and Pace will be back. They'll probably re-sign Trubisky, or they might franchise tag him, which is just so depressing. They're going to lose Allen Robinson. I think they'll probably go offensive line in the draft. Maybe they go wide receiver because of Robinson leaving. But they do like Mooney. Anthony Miller's whatever. Sean Johnson. Just heard that Aaron Rodgers will be guest hosting some episodes of Jeopardy. Well, cancel that. What game show do you think Kirk Cousins should host? Kirk Cousins should host Family Feud, but with Steve Harvey there to roast him after every joke. Detailer. No, Kirk Cousins would be good. If they brought back Extreme Home Makeover, I think Kirk would be a good host for that. Although they need to change that because I know they did when they brought it back for the first time. But, I mean, the first run where they would build these obnoxiously obscene, like, McMansion houses, and the property taxes would go sky high so that the families couldn't even afford them. Then they had to sell the houses at a loss. We're just like, wow. Oh, hey, we heard you like dolphins as an 8-year-old. So here's this dolphin room that is going to be extremely hard to renovate. Good luck with that when you're 18, you weirdo. A detailer, do you see any scenario where the Vikings could trade out of the first round? Yes, I think it's extremely likely, especially if one of the quarterbacks does fall. The Vikings decide they're not in the quarterback market, and a team wants to jump ahead of New England at 15. Andy Shong. In an alternate universe, if the Vikings had an opportunity to take Joe Burrow or Tua, would they take it? Yeah. Ruby Vroom. What's your personal favorite dish from the Hot Dish installment? Mine's Italian beef. I like doing the chicken and waffles. Well, no, I like the Nashville hot chicken because I like the the work of actually frying a chicken plus the heat. It was good. Josiah Clarkin. Hypothetically speaking, not saying I would or wouldn't want it, but could you see Thielen getting shipped for a first, then going after Devontae Smith? I don't think at Thielen's age and given his contract, I don't think that you would be able to wrangle a first round. Unless it's a back end of the first round. But yeah, if Devontae Smith drops to 14, yes. Hell, if Waddle drops to 14, even though I am willing to bet a decent amount that Waddle will be drafted before Devontae. Because I think that if Waddle is able to be fully healthy and just completely destroys that 40, I think they'll go a lot higher. Westworld. What would it take to pull off a trade for Rookie of the Year runner-up Justin Herbert? I don't know, 4 ones. Pull for Skull. Let's play the quarterback carousel game where they'll go on Watson. I actually think Watson is stuck in Houston. Stafford. Denver. Matt Ryan, I think, stays in Atlanta. Darnold stays with the Jets. Drew Lock stays in Denver. He's on his rookie deal. Heineke stays in Washington. Cam is a free agent. I think it's over for Cam. I really think it is. I think Wentz goes to the Colts. Zach Robb. Oh, shit. Indy. Maybe they drag Phillip Rivers' ass out one more time. Or maybe they take Mac Jones. Pittsburgh. God, I don't even know what they do in Pittsburgh. That's a mess. They can't afford to pay anyone. They're not really in position to draft a day one starting quarterback. And then the Saints. Kyle Trask. Zach Robb. If you were GM, would you keep Zimmer as head coach? If cost wasn't an object, no. But since it is, yes. Noisy Boy. Do you think the Vikings should trade some picks for Watson? Yes. Tommy Johnson. Do you think there's any chance the Vikings in the Deshaun Watson? Yes. Abza Abdi, Reef Hunter, Smith, and 14 for the Jets' number 2 overall pick. I don't think they would do that. No. Abza Abdi, trade Zimmer to the Falcons. He ain't going back there. Tyler Newman, shoddy for OC. Chris Danny Hansen, do you have any superstitious Vikings rituals that you do before or during Vikings games? Yeah, I have a superstition of getting food, getting a beer, and turning on the TV. Chris Danny Hansen, what do you hate most about the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers? So, in a stroke of irony, so I actually listened to the Vince Lombardi book, the really long one, When Pride Still Mattered. And I respect Lombardi. I respect Packers history. I hate Packers fans. Yeah, that is the thing. Or I like the Packers history, hate Packers fans, hate Saints fans, hate Eagles fans. But other than that, I love everyone else. Also, yeah, Bears history as well. Like the Hallises, like them starting up the NFL in like a car dealership. Like, hey, we got the white walls for your Studebaker. Start a league. MJ the GOAT. Ohio State looked nothing like they did versus Clemson, but that's not my question. My question is, why don't we ever give time on people such as Daniel Carlson? I think that him being cut after 2 games was an absolute knee-jerk reaction. I think they should have thought about it more. Viking Sports Podcast. I think we should trade 14 to the Niners and Kirk Cousins to the Niners. Trade next year's. That's a lot of moving parts. Tristan Bailey, if Rousseau and Pay are both on board, who'd you take? I would take Pay. I would take Pay because even though his ceiling might not be as high as Rousseau, that floor is infinitely higher. I think Kwity Paye is a rock-solid day-one contributor. He might be the early favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Nick Wolf. And physical freak is a broad term. He is not built like Hunter at all. Like he's built more like DeForest Buckner, I guess. Now Eric Armstead might be a better comparison, like a lighter Eric Armstead. Nick Wolf, what do you think the chances are that we could get Leatherwood or Dickerson? Leatherwood and Dickerson. I think that would be great. I mean, Leatherwood in the first round. You could probably even trade down and still get Leatherwood. And then Dickerson, I think medically, if he checks out, he still might slide a little bit, but you might have to maneuver into the back end of round 2. But that would be great. I mean, Leatherwood and have Leatherwood and Dickerson start at guards. Why the hell not? The Bash Brothers. Bring in Deontay Brown. Actually, let's just get the Alabama offensive line because that right tackle 73 is probably going to be a first round pick because he's a true sophomore, right? Pretty sure. Shiver Timbers. If you could go back in time, would you have chosen Antoine Winfield Jr. over Jeff Gladney? Yes. Penguin Zero. Should the Vikings trade down to get Mac Jones or Kyle Trask? All for trading down. For Trask? No. Ian Satram. Play DJ Wanamore. Yeesh. Braylon McGreevy. Should Vikings ship out Hunter? Nah. MK Scanaway, what are your opinions on the Bears bringing Nagy and Chuck Pagano retiring? I think Pagano is going to be fired, so this is just the classy way to go out. Pretty similar to how BA was forced out of Pittsburgh by Tomlin. I actually think it's the best thing that happened because Chuck Pagano in that defense was actually good. Matt Nagy, that fake-ass Brad Childress. BDH is gaming. What is more needed, a better O-line or better defense? I mean, the O-line, especially running the ball, they're one of the best in the league. Pass protection certainly could get better. But, I mean, that defense was just ass atrocious. And yes, injuries, guys coming back, but they need some help there. So I would say defense over O-line. As weird as that sounds. Yeah. But that's it. That is the Q&A for the day. Thank you very much for coming along and making us part of it. Subscribe for Daily Viking Stakes. We got a lot of fun stuff coming out. Subscribe. Where I said that. Anyway, Skull, production value.